I kind of have a plan. Let's just see how it goes. And maybe if we decide we want to go in a different direction. I'm going to talk a little bit about like some design principles that I've learned unofficially. I'm going to show you a couple designs I've made and like kind of show you like the little pieces of them that I think are good tricks to know. And then just kind of show you, I made something for Sky Oro, so I'm going to kind of show you what that's all about. So yeah, anyway, let's get started. I'm going to share my screen for most of it. I'm not very good at the screen sharing thing, so we'll just do,
Should I log into Canva?
What was that?
Should I log into Canva or is...
I think if you just watched, that would be best.
Cool.
Thank you. That's a good question. Can I share my screen now? Sweet. I love it. Okay. Don't mind my very, very disorganized desktop. That's just how I roll. Sweet. So this is Canva. I have Canva Pro. It's really awesome. It's sort of like a Netflix subscription as far as price point, and I think it's really valuable. Anybody give me a thumbs up if you've never used Canva before? Okay, so everybody's at least used Canva, so I don't need to like go like way nitty gritty. Awesome. Here's all my designs. I literally have like just so many designs. I've used it for like 2 years solid. I made a little Canva class folder that has some of the things we'll talk about. My dad is a pretty successful graphic designer. He does a lot of like packaging stuff. So like he redesigned like the DiGiorno pizza box like 10 years ago. And he taught at MSU. He lived in Boulder. He's he's amazing. He always gives me grief though, because he uses Adobe and I used to use Adobe and it would take me like forever. And now in Canva, what would take me like an hour in Adobe, I can do in 10 minutes. So sometimes he gives me grief and I'm like, yeah, but it just makes me way more efficient. So, whatever. Basic design principles. Again, I'm not a graphic designer, but this is stuff I've learned. Here's some basic design principles to keep in mind when it comes to designing. So format, like really having a clear structure, like a skeleton. Alignment. So really just kind of thinking about like everything kind of orienting to one side, and then going off of there. The concept of hierarchy, proximity, so group of things and then something over here. Balance, I think in Canva is really, really important because if you don't know what you're doing, things can feel like they're unbalanced. Concept of repetition, so just like things that are pleasing to the eye is just sort of repeating patterns. Another really valuable tool is the concept of negative space, that there's a lot to be said with nothing. Like the musician in me is like some of the best moments in music is when there's like literally nothing happening. Like at the end of Barbara Adagio, like before people start clapping, like there's a lot to be said there. And I think same thing in design. Concept of color, gradation, intensity, as well as spectrum. Contrast. White Claw, I think their packaging is really appealing because it's like that white and black. And then there's like that bright color. I just remember I have a design friend and he was like 3 years ago, he's like, this is going to be the future. And then unity and variety. So making sure that like even in like the context of something that there's something in common, but it's also not boring. So you have a little variation. If you enroll in Moon Magic, you'll see like that's something that it was really important to me in the spell book was that there was unity and variety like within the pages. So yeah, there's design principles. I don't know how Slack works, but I could maybe even just share this graphic in there for you to have. Sweet. I'm actually going to go home. So I'm currently working on a website redesign for the church that I'm the music director of. And do I have that here? Yeah, cool. So this is like kind of goes a little bit into branding, but I think it's really important to keep in mind. So specifically within your designs, across the board, what's going to look really good is to make sure that you're using consistent colors, consistent fonts, and let's zoom in a little bit here. So with the church, they have a style guide that I have to follow. So their logo wasn't following the style guide. So I went ahead and I redesigned it. So they have their shield, and then their Gil Sans, and then their Garamond there. And so when I'm redesigning their website, I'm going to make sure that like there's always these fonts involved. It just makes a clean brand, and it also really helps you when you're making design decisions to just have those things figured out. And then primary colors. So these are the colors here. What's really cool about Canva though is that there's different types of color codes, and those here. So if I'm ever wanting to go back to this red, I can just like literally type that in, that color code in there, and it'll pop it up. I'll show you a little bit about this brand color later. But so if you are designing for your business or something else, it's really helpful to just have like a style guide in mind, or really just have one picked out, because it just makes everything you do beyond that like super, super simple. Questions about that so far?
I have a question. Would part of the style guide be to include some of the elements, or do you use those elements just whenever, depending on the piece that you're designing?
Ooh, elements, do you mean like
The
like
hierarchy, the alignment, the unity and variety, the
oh,
color contrast?
yeah, totally. That's a great question. So with the church, like definitely it's not like modern. So I like some of those more modern design styles, like a little bit, like when I'm thinking of format, I wouldn't want the format to be really minimalist, because that's not in the style of the church. And then same with like Magical Babe, it is a little more minimalist. So I would just make sure that like within that style, it's like falling in with that. The concept of proximity, where all those little dots were there and there was something over here. With the church, that proximity just in like a more classic style is going to be a little like more tight knit than like a minimalist style or a modern style like Magical Babe or even New Wave. So in those design principles, there's like a spectrum, right? There's within that style. So great question. Any other questions? Sweet, I love it. I'm gonna go ahead and pop you guys down. All right. I'm just gonna take you through some designs that I've made and kind of show you a little bit about there. So my friend Jessica, she owns Bowl and Arrow Private Chef. And she was telling me how this one graphic designer was gonna charge her like just a very large amount of money. I'm sure the woman was worth it, but she wasn't really happy with the designs. And I was just literally at New Wave one night, and I was just like fleshing out. She's trying to incorporate more cakes and stuff into her design, so Private Chef and sweets. And I asked her, I was like, okay, what's your font? And she's like, okay, it's Playfair Display. And then I was like, what's your secondary font? And Montserrat. So I just went ahead and like designed these little logos here. Just like, it's really cool because you have elements and you can search like radish, and like all of these different radishes come up. And of course, like her style is like a little whimsical, so I definitely wouldn't pick like this radish, because that's not really whimsical. That's like more like classic, like drawn sort of a thing. So within there, you know, you can pick things that are like within the style. Did I ever, can you, yeah, and then we get here, and that's like more of her like whimsical style. When you're doing logos, you kind of want to make sure that like you have like a square space, because typically with logos, you're trying to fit them like within like an icon or things like that. So like when I went to go make this, it was just literally like the square logo tab. And then I pop those in. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you go to download, you typically want to do a PNG for a digital file. And then, you know, depending on if it's print or something like that, you would like adjust the size. And then very important for logos, because it's very annoying for us graphic designers. Make sure that that PNG is exported with a transparent background. And I'll show you why in a minute. And it downloads it there. I didn't actually want to do that. So again, we had that style or that font I asked her for, and then just kind of went from there. Here's the funny little story. So during a mastermind, we've had the discussion about differentiating New Wave from the other float center. And some feedback I got from Molly, which was really cool, was like really like having like a map. And Google Maps, I don't think like does a good job of like identifying where we are, because people are like, okay, it's like somewhere on the west side. So I literally took a screenshot of, I wonder if I could even find it. No, it would take me forever to go back in. But I took a screenshot of Google Maps. I pasted it back here, and then I just drew a map over top of it, and then kind of popped New Wave in there. And this has been a really actually effective tool. I've used it for my website. I also used it for Instagram posts, like for various businesses. I would put like chi nail bar with an arrow there, just and like highlighting them. So that's like been a
And
really
did you do that with just shapes, Breezy?
Yeah. So like this is a rectangle that I can like make bigger, or can I make it wider? Not on this one. Circle. Okay, here's this circle thing was such a pain in the ass. I'll show you guys why. They didn't have a circle that was wide enough that matched up with this width. So I literally took, I'm going to ungroup it. I literally took a bunch of little circles. Can I ungroup that? And like stack them on top of each other to make a wide circle. Yeah, it was like such a pain in the ass, but it was like the only way I could get it to sort of look like that and be wide enough to match. But I mean, it's pretty creative. So you just went to elements.
What did you just do to get them back into a group? How did you select that whole group at once?
Oh yeah, totally. So I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. So whenever you're trying to grab the elements like will grab in like various sizes like this, or like outside of it. If I want to grab, so this is all grouped. So I'm going to go ahead and ungroup it. And then if I want to group it so that like I don't just grab one, I just kind of like select them all. Let's find a way I can do that. There we go. So annoying. I'm just gonna.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because somehow you like snapped to it last time, and I was like, I've never been able to do that.
I have no idea how
I have to like drag
that,
everything else out of the way, and
yeah, I have no idea how I did that either. Actually, I'm gonna go back and watch the recording because that was like a miracle.
Nice. I didn't know if you had a hotkey or something.
Oh man, maybe
you did it right there again. It's like when you're holding your shift, and it's like when you're holding a shift and you drew like a rectangle over it, it grabbed everything. Like totally. That. Yep.
Yeah, you just got to find the spot to start it from though, and she's like nailing it on that one. But
yeah, somehow I did it. Yeah, that's the annoying thing about this whole process. But if you like kind of look in really close, you can see all those little circles. But yeah, that was like a really fun tool. It took a little bit of time, but you know, I just went to elements and I went to rectangle. And then I found the rectangle here, and let me zoom out. Out of the rectangle, I made it this kind of gray color, and then I just kind of shrunk it down like that, and then like flipped it up, like that, and then popped her in there like that. I superimposed a wave back there because I thought it was kind of cool. But yeah, so there's that little map I made using just shapes and logos. Nothing really fancy there. But you'll notice my text was in Lato, which is you'll see it on my website for New Wave. So I'm just really trying to maintain consistency. Oh, this is a really cool thing too. So there's my New Wave favicon. When I want to make like an arrow a specific color, not only is it there for my brand colors, which I'll go back and show in a little bit. Oh, I was hoping you would do that for this one. If there's like an element on there, it'll like pop them up for you. So typically, like for that, I wonder if it'll do that there. No, it won't. Anyway, typically certain elements you can like totally color match that way, because you'll click on the color and it'll be like, oh, do you want it to be this color to match that wave behind you? So that's a cool little tool. All right, enough with the map. I'll show you a couple other things I've designed. Oh, this was a really cool thing, and I thought this was like last summer. I thought it was like the creme de la creme of like some of my work I've done. So we did Detox Retox Week. It was a collaboration with local businesses at New Wave. So Nordic Brew Works is nearby. So we were serving beer and talking about like detoxing. And this is a really great example of, you know, making sure that your branding is consistent across the board, depending on like offer even just a specific event. So I created a Detox Retox logo. And then I created a social graphic utilizing this logo. Then I made a flyer for it. And what's really fun about it is you can take this design here. Oh, remember when I was talking about making sure your PNGs have blank backgrounds? It's because if they don't, like I think one of these didn't have a blank background. Trying to find which one it was. Anyway, it was really annoying. And so then I had to make them all have these little white squares behind them so it looked consistent, and then it just looked like I made it in like kid pics. But anyway, just so you know, upload it to your website, blank background. So I made this social graphic here. What's really great is you can go ahead and resize it to like whatever. So let's say I want to resize this to a Facebook cover. Click that, copy and resize. And then it goes ahead and it opens it up in like a Facebook cover aspect ratio. And then from there, I can kind of redesign. So I can click here, I can bring these things over here. I can do this, I can make this, oh, I didn't need to do that. Anyway, and then it has that same style everybody saw with the social graphic, and they go on. It just makes everything look more professional, more streamlined. And it also just makes it really easy for you. So then boom, Facebook cover photo, upload, done. And that took me like 20 seconds. So that's double your money as far as like assets is concerned with very little effort. See. Okay, I'm going to show you guys. This is sort of my design process. So Amanda tasked me with making them like a mask poster. Don't look at this. This is garbage. And my design process is I just like throw things on a page until I feel like I'm inspired. So it took me a while. I uploaded the Sky Oro logo. And then I kind of just played around. I was thinking, oh, maybe this font would be cool. But looking at their website, this like script isn't really a part of what they do. I zoomed in on the logo because I was trying to get the colors. Where are you, logo? And I saw this really cool background here, and I was like, ooh, maybe that's something I can utilize. I needed to pick up the colors of the logo, so I went ahead and boom, photo colors. I was able to pick up some of the similar colors there. The only thing is it wasn't picking up this like peach color. So here's where it gets a little tricky. So I went and I grabbed an element. Let's see, let's grab a brush stroke. There we go. I grabbed a brush stroke. Where are you, brush stroke? Oh, you're huge and you're all the way over there. And then I literally just tried to find the color. So I went here, popped up to your color palette, went to new color. I know it's kind of in the peachy range, so I'm gonna kind of move it a little bit over to the orange here. And then I'm just gonna grab this guy. Oh, I'm almost there. And I'm just gonna try, okay, he needs to come a little more orange. And you can just kind of try to find the color. Oh, see, I'm almost there. And then when you're not quite sure, zoom in a little bit more, and then you can kind of tell, oh, it's still a little more pink.
There's a hack. There's a hack for that one too, Breezy. If you're, I don't know how to do it if you're on a PC, but on Mac, you can if you hit Command Space and now type digital color, yeah, you can just hit enter. And now if you, wherever you hover over, it'll give you the exact,
It'll give you the RGB.
yeah, or also you can say, I think you can tell it to display in hex. But
Hex.
you can also type in that RGB.
You can type in RGB there. Oh my gosh. See, look at, we're learning things all across the board.
Yeah.
I love it.
When I figured that out, I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Literally just changed my life. But yeah, anyway, I did that for a while and then I was able to find the color. But now I'm just going to start using the digital color finder. Thanks, Ben. Okay. So zoomed in on the logo and I was like, oh, there's this cool thing. So that's kind of what got me going down here. So then I like made these little lines and then proudly wearing masks while moving around. Then I found this, which happens to be that color.
How did you make the lines?
Oh, it was such a pain in the ass. I was doing it at like 6 this morning. So, okay, let's deconstruct this. Let's go ahead and make a copy of this. Sweet. I'm gonna just go ahead and delete everything on this page. Nope. Let's see, it's gonna do that. All right. This thing I'm really proud of. I'll get to that in a minute. All right, so let's zoom a little bit. So remember those lines that I made for the map of New Wave? I basically made the same thing. So these are all little lines that I have grouped together. So I'm gonna ungroup all these little lines. See, I move them around like that. And then I just went Control Alt Delete, or not Control, or copy, 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 and I spaced them out. Canva is really cool, and what makes it a really effective tool and great for people who maybe don't know a lot about design is it kind of figures out a lot of those ratios for you. So see, when a pink line shows up, it shows me that like it's in line with something else. Like that pink line is showing up, showing me that like I'm in center. It is just like, honestly, it can be kind of annoying sometimes if you're doing something a little funky, but like it just really shows me, okay, that's in line, cool, I can move on and I can move around. Boom, that line goes in. So anyway, I just did all that. And then
those are just more rectangles on top of like that sort of peachy background.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Sorry, I sometimes get in my own head when I'm talking about things. I appreciate that. So I just did little rectangles, Control space, 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 all the way down like that. Now, it would be really annoying to be designing on top of this. So I went and I selected all of these right here. Why are you not letting me select all? Oh, it's not gonna let me do that. Group them and then I locked them. So it doesn't matter what happens, these are always gonna stay there unless I wanna like unlock them. So see how they're all locked like that. So now when I go to design, those are gonna stay in place. They're not gonna move around. So then I can go ahead and put the Sky Aura logo on top or whatever. And that's just like a stuck background. So I moved things around a little bit, so I would have to go in and like readjust those. Sweet. So then I just added this. I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know. I actually ultimately didn't land on this one. I decided that this was a little too busy.
How did you find that leopard spot? What did you search for that leopard spot?
Oh, so I was like brush stroke.
Oh.
And I kind of popped those up and then it just kind
cool.
of goes there. So just like, I was definitely thinking like Sky Oro branding, in my opinion, is just like very like boho chic kind of like in a I don't want that to sound cliche, but like for me, when I think of that, I think of like watercolor and like just a little more like not cartoonish. I'm trying to think of like a word, but I don't know. It just like when I think of Sky Oro, I have a very clear vision in my mind. So like it's easy for me to pick up like some design elements, even if Amanda doesn't like them, because again, I never cleared this through. I just like made this morning. I ultimately landed on this one right here with a blank background. I don't know, that just seemed a little less clean. I've been really trying to figure out how to make curved lettering. And then finally, I just decided like about 6 months ago, I'll just do it myself. So this right here is not a effect you can do to make your letters curve like that. So what I had to do.
Unfortunately, please add Canva. Please add.
Yes. What I had to do was I took a circle and I like, let's see if I can make it about the right size. So I took a circle and I ungroup, made individual letters and I lined them up with the circle, each individual one like that. So each individual one is a text box that I then rotated to sort of line up that way.
Oh my gosh.
This
is
actually
amazing.
The few times you do it, it's really easy once you kind of figure out how to go. But it just, I don't know, it just like, I think it's kind of fun. It's like a, definitely like a curated element. It doesn't feel like, it just makes it feel special. So anyway, individual letter boxes. So I basically like R, and then I turn that into an E, and then turn that into an A, like that. And then I lined them up. So that's a cool little trick I learned. I've been using it a lot. So you'll start seeing a lot of curved letters in my designs, just fair warning. And then I kept going because she asked me to make a mask sign. And then I was like, proudly serving tree-lined coffee, proudly serving whole and nourished granola, proudly co-working together. I don't know, it was just like a series I made. So remember when I was talking about like that design element of like variety and unity, like the same thing. So we have like a similar layout, but just a little bit different. And that is great because it's a design element that shows there's cohesion in your branding, but also it just makes your job really easy. So then I just went in and I like found a cute little mason jar that kind of had the same, like I landed on this coloring because I liked it. I thought it looked good. And then I just tried to make it consistent like throughout the rest of the design. You'll see that same kind of purple color throughout. So that's my sign that I unofficially made for you, Amanda, but I'll totally make you something else. I just thought that was kind of fun.
That's amazing, Breezy. I'm so impressed.
Thanks. Let's see. This is something I'm working on, my self-love mini course. Ben complimented my gradient background, and I'll show you really how easy it is. So the background's locked, as you can see, so I'm going to unlock it. So whenever you have a background, you just have to lock it because otherwise, whenever you drag something over it, it'll grab that too. So hot pink I decided was going to be my vibe for it. And then this is just a gradient element here. I'm going to take that away for a second. So here's a gradient element. You just literally type in, I can't spell gradient. Is that how you spell it? No. And I'm not even on the right thing. Gradient, excuse me. So you can just like grab any of those like that. And then you can pick your colors, which is really cool. So this is like purple and teal. I decided I wanted purple, kind of aqua, and then like a salmon color. So it looks like that, but then if you pop in like the hot pink behind it, this kind of gives it a different vibe. So that's how I made the gradient. You just make it really big and then lock it in place. This star element is like my icon for my logo. So I like to always just have it like incorporated in everything, even if, so like in the Moon Magic, you'll see the stars all over the place. And then, yeah, so I just went and I searched elements and I just really tried to make sure that they were similar in style, that they had a lot of negative space, you'll see here, that they look more like icons. So yeah, so then I just kind of kept that branding consistent. So lesson 1, I used that, things like that. And then I kind of played around with that. So then each, like, these are slides for videos that I'm designing, like the opening slides. I made whatever one we were talking about. So these are the gua shas. I made them like super dark. And then the rest of them, I just like dropped that transparency down to 23. So that's that color gradation. That's a design element we were talking about, and like emphasis, right? So I think they're all 31. Just want to make sure they're 23.
That's a really nice idea for that design.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so that's a great like little trick you can do to emphasize certain things, is like just drop down the transparency so that you can highlight those things. So yeah, there you go there. This is a font, the Husser, I use that one in Moon Magic, so that's consistent. And then same with the playlist script. So my branding, even across all my courses, is similar. Again, not only does it create some authority in your brand, but it just makes your job super, super easy. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you come to a design. One thing that Canva does that's really helpful that I'll go back and show you is you can create a brand kit. So it's harder for me because I have several businesses that I design for, but I have like my brand colors. So these are new wave colors that I use. These are Magical Babe colors. Breezy is just kind of like, she doesn't exist anymore, but she was a brand I had for a while. And then there's the St. James Church colors. So I have those colors already to go. So they're always there when I want to pick on them. And then I have my brand fonts. So I use Bebas Noi for like my headlines. And this is typically for new wave stuff. Like I showed you before in the Moon Magic and the self-love class, they're different fonts. But yeah, so that it just makes your job really easy. So again, back to like what we talked about with St. James, if you sort of have like a decision made for your brand, pop those in and then you're just good to go. Try to avoid Lato best you can. Everybody uses Lato, and we use it a little bit with New Wave, and I'm like kind of over it, and everybody else is too. So yeah, that's kind of like a rundown of some of my designs. I wanted to just sort of open it up to maybe some like questions you guys had about like specific design elements, or like we could workshop, we could try to figure out something together.
Question on how you were able to pull your designs over into and create folders down underneath shared with you.
Yeah. So literally, oh, I don't want to click on it. So you go here to these little 3 dots, move to folder. You can create a new folder. Now,
thank you. I have like 6 different companies I do stuff for, and they're all on just all my designs.
I'm not organized like that. So I only use the folder because I knew that I wanted to have these designs for you guys in the class. I wish I was better about organizing them. The other thing is that it'll always be like all your designs will always be here. So even if you move them into a folder, it's not moving them into a folder like you do on a desktop. They'll still always be here at all your designs. But then, yeah, if you're working.
Quick access though. Yeah.
Yeah. There.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm just not that way. Like, look at my desktop. I'm not organized like that. So it's the Virgo in me, like the hidden. It's like we pretend like we have our shit together, but we actually really don't.
When's your birthday? I'm the exact same way. I'm like, I have stacks, and Rhett will be like, if no one can touch my stacks, I know where everything is, but it's cluttered stacks.
I'm the 7th. You're the 13th.
I'm the
right?
4th.
The 4th. Okay.
Yep.
So one of the things that's been really helpful for me is like just so I've been creating like icons and stuff like that then I like import. So that's one thing that's a little funky about Canva that I don't love, is that if you create something in one like file, you can't really access it from another one. So like you can't really merge pages of a PDF or something like that. So I created these icons, and then I exported them, and then I re-imported them. So if you kind of go here, you'll see that I like uploaded them all here like that. This is something I did really cheesy, but I thought it was really funny. Canva in about January, I want to say, uploaded a new tool, which is that you can remove the background on photos. So it really is like trying to compete with Photoshop, which I think is like really fantastic. So I did an event for Sky Oro, New Moon, New You. And so I took these ridiculous photos. Everyone thinks I'm holding a joint. No, that's Palo Santo. Anyway, I took a photo of me holding a Palo Santo and a crystal ball, and then I went to the effects here, and I removed the background on it, and then I kind of added these little illustrations because it's more with my brand. So
I didn't know you could do that.
yeah, I'll show you guys how to do it right now. So I want a blank page, not a new page. There you go. All right, so we go to uploads. There's so many photos of me. It's not because I'm vain. All right, so there's a photo of me there. Effects, background remover. Takes a minute. It's lots of, it might not work, depends. Oh, it does work. Okay, some photos, if there's a lot of busyness in the background, it won't work. So there, and then I want it to look like I'm on the moon. So I'm gonna go to, let's go to elements. No, let's go to background.
Can you use that for logos, Breezy? Do you know? Like, can you pull out elements from a logo?
You can.
Oh, that's so fantastic.
So let's take actually, let's try that here too. So uploads, let's see. Let's see if it will remove, it depends on the design, but let's see if it'll remove the pink from that. Sometimes it's a little clunky because it's, you know,
it's crazy that it can, wow. See, it's crazy that it can even do it at all, but that's great. Yeah. I would have expected it to still have the pink inside the computer screen. That's great.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, so it'll do that. And then you can like upload any background or stuff like that. But that's like a really cool hack, especially back when I was doing detox retox, I would have loved to do that so I could remove the white background on a couple of those just to make that design more professional. I actually think, yeah, I did that for APRS. Same thing. That's why it's a little fuzzy because I had to remove the background. So yeah. Question on that? Oh, and then like I've done that for products too, right? So we go all the way down. I have like hoodies maybe. Yeah, I did that for products for me. So like here's my crystals and stuff like that. I just, instead of like taking them and photoshopping them and then uploading them to InDesign, I just like uploaded a photo I took with my iPhone with just a blank background to make it easy, remove the background, popped it on there, and it's as if it's like on a blank background. And then it also makes it easy too because like that way you don't have to crop it if you're trying to like fit it in with a bunch of other products. Like, so my like line sheets, I have a bunch of products listed. See, I did the same thing here. I removed the background, popped like a pink background there. So anyway.
That's awesome. Breezy, do you know if there's a way to draw in Canva? I haven't been able to figure it out, but I want to ask.
There is not a way to draw in Canva. So the hack I've been using is I have an iPad Pro. So I draw in their Adobe file and then I upload it. So actually, I think I can show you an example of that. So I have a signature print that is made, that Spoonflower does for me. It's called the Vajactus. It'll take me forever to find it because I upload shit all the time and I'm not very organized, but it'll be here. Yeah, the Vajactus print that I hand drew. Sorry, it's important though. So we're gonna see, look at all these damn little logos with the white background. Ugh, it's okay. There, so these I hand drew in that iPad Pro format, and then I just I remove the background. These ones I just photoshopped and then uploaded that way. That's kind of been my only way around it.
What app did you actually draw it in though?
Ooh, I don't have my iPad up here, but I could find it and let you know. But it's okay. It's like just a drawing tool.
I was really wondering if it had to be iPad or if I could do it on my Mac.
Oh, I bet you could do it on your Mac. It's just that I just use my iPad.
Because you can draw on the iPad.
Because I can draw on it with a pen. But you could probably do the same thing. But yeah, and then you just have to upload those files. But then you can remove the background on those there, and then you should have all these little vajactuses. Look at those. It's like such an amazing tool. I'm so glad that they did that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome. Any other questions? Is there anything like I can help with, or do you guys want to make something? No. Another design thing I do is like, I do like to go and like look at their templates because I just find inspiration from them. Like I'll look at like a blog banner template list. And I think sometimes like, I think a lot of their like templates are like, don't really apply to me. And I think they're a little busy. Like some of them are really well designed and some of them are like that. Like that's not really good special. That's not special design. Sorry, Mom. But like I like this, right? Like that's kind of cool. So then I like take that away. And then let's see what else. But I really like this, right? Like that's cool. So I'm going to take this, pop it up into there. And then what else do I like? I don't know. So I like to scan them and then just like, I just upload them on there. So, okay, but look, these things are kind of cute. So then I grab those. I don't know, I'm just messing around. But so you can take elements from all of them. Cool. And just an easy way to is just uploading them and then like grabbing the elements. So that's how I think those templates are useful. I don't think they're useful in that I can really tell when somebody just grabs a template from Canva because I've seen it like a lot. So, and like there's no shame in using Canva templates, but I think that it just, I don't know. Well, I'm putting a lot of judgment on that. I should probably check myself on it. But like, I don't know, there's no shame in using Canva templates, but I think that to make your branding more like, I don't know, it just makes it unique in your own, right? It's not plagiarizing because like that's what it's there for, but it's like a little plagiarizing. I'll have to think about that. I feel like judgy saying that, but it's okay. Anyway, so yeah, those are my Canva hacks. Just quick rundown.
I think, one way to think about it, Breezy, is like if you're going to all the trouble to make designs, you obviously want them to be special for whatever you're designing them for. And if you use those Canva designs that hundreds of thousands of other people have access to, they're going to lose some of that uniqueness.
Yeah. And so one of the ones that I see all the time is a quote. And I was guilty of this. It's like a quote template and it's very beautiful, but and I used it for New Wave for testimonials. And then I started seeing like that same sort of thing popping up on others. And I was like, no. So like I had to quickly like stop using that template just because like I was seeing other people using the same thing. And I was like, oh man, that's not like special and unique. And then like, I know, like we know that we're using the same template, right? And so, but anyway, the other thing that's really cool is that Squarespace and Canva really, really love each other. And actually, I think the company that owns Squarespace also owns Canva. So they integrate really, really well in that they have like Squarespace aspect ratios in their like elements. So just so you know, because I use Squarespace too.
Yeah.
I really like how easy Canva is to like snap things to where they belong. Like, there's those guidelines, but then you can also like position it. Like if you want it to be on the left, it'll like evenly space it to the left of the thing. Or if you put it in the center or whatever, like you can do top center, bottom center, and it'll just like snap your elements to where you want them to go.
Yeah.
And that's like really cool.
That's where it's hard with InDesign if you don't know a lot about ratios and things like that, that Canva just sort of shows that for you. Like same like when we were making that striped background with the Sky Oro thing, it just knew that I wanted to evenly space them for me. So it would show me that I was like good to go.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I don't know, sometimes I'm like, if I'm putting something somewhere and I don't see one of those lines pop up, I'm like, ooh, like, do I really want this to be here? Like, and then I can make that decision. Like, yeah, I do want it to be here, or no, maybe let's like take a look at like where it is in relation to other elements on the page.
And it's also cool, like if you get things where you want, like relative to each other, you can like highlight them all, group them, and then stretch or shrink them, and it'll keep them in ratio. So that's like another cool thing.
I was doing that with, I'm not sharing my screen. I forget that I'm not, I was like about ready to show you guys something, but I don't need to. But it was just funny. I was like moving my mouse when I was talking this whole time about certain things. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, it just like, and that's a thing in InDesign too, that if you like select a bunch of things, you can like kind of move and them together. Shift select, or you can like highlight everything. Those are the two ways to like grab multiple items.
Oh, I also learned this the other day. If you hold, I think on a Mac, it's either Command or Alt, I don't remember, and you click something, you can drill through the element that, so like if there's like, you know, like on your circles on the map, you can like drill through.
Yeah, control click, and then you can click through something on like the different levels. Yeah. That's something I didn't really talk about too. It's just how you can bring things forward or backwards, and how important it is to do those things. Like, you want like your like most important element to be on that top level. One, because obviously things are going to be blocking it, but two, when you go to export it to a print PDF, it's going to give a color hierarchy to those. So then when you're giving them to a printer, that print file in the color coding is going to give more emphasis to that and less to the others. So you're not going to have as much bleed through. That's like a whole print thing with computers, but it's important even just with the file to do that, just because then you're it just makes that print much cleaner when you go. That's more like that's like what my dad does with like the DiGiorno pizza box. Like that is like a high print product that goes through, and you want to make sure like the logo is super, super clean, that there's like, it has more emphasis there. So awesome. Well, there's my Canva tips and tricks. I hope it was helpful. I'm
so helpful. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Ben, what was the command on a Mac to get that?
I think Breezy knew it. Control. I just, it's one of those three buttons next to the space bar. I always play around with it. I don't have it like cemented in my brain.
Yeah, control.
No, sorry, the one where you can do the color matching.
Oh,
that you're talking, the digital color match, I think.
The hotkey is just Command Space, but that's just a hotkey to let you search for anything on your Mac right away without like opening up Finder or whatever. So just Command Space will bring up that like search for anything thing. And then if you, I think if you just type color, if you just, the second one that pops up will be digital color meter.
That was so brilliant. I literally cannot believe I didn't.
Yeah, because I was doing what you were doing one day, and I was like, okay, there's got to be, somebody has got to have figured this out. Is there like an app I can download or something? And it was like native on Mac, and I was like, what? Cool.
Yeah, I've gotten like really good at it. Like I've really fast, but that literally just will save me so much time.
Yeah, and I just realized, Paige, actually that color of flower that you really like, now I just remembered, I can just go grab that picture, and because we were trying to match this flower color, and I couldn't figure it out.
Oh, well, there you go.
She loves it. It's like salmon sunset something or other. I don't know.
It's like somewhere between salmon and coral and creamsicle. It's like in that realm somewhere. It's not any one of those, but it's like somewhere between all three of them.
I love it. Well, Amanda, I would love to chat with you about those posters another time. But yeah, I just made those this morning. It was just something quick and silly. But you told me you like the ones, I know the ones you're talking about, and I can easily make those. Just tell me what font you guys like to use for your branding.
I actually have the file. I've been meaning to send it to you because Colette Hennenkamp created the signs in our space. So I can send you that file so that it's all on point.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's very important to have that consistency, truly, because like it just makes your stuff more recognizable.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I thought I was like, I truly believe that in a marketing standpoint, but then just from a designer, it's like just so many less things you have to think about. It's just it's all there for you.
Breezy, when you are ready to try to upload that image that you had onto Slack, you can if you just download that slide, you can literally just drag and drop it into like general or wherever in Slack.
Okay, cool.
Slack's super easy that way too.
Is it? I'm not the most tech savvy person, and so I appreciate.
Yeah, thank God for Mac and that people started to take design cues from Mac or Apple rather.
Yeah. It's just so intuitive. I just like love that.
Yep. I want this to be in here, just to pick it up and put it there, and it works.
We're just rambling now, or I'm just rambling now, but like we have a Windows at New Wave, and